Faded glory. A love across borders. The sun dipped low over the rugged hills of Texas, casting golden streaks across the dusty horizon. In a small border town caught between shadows of the past and the uncertain promises of tomorrow, Solomon Reed sat on the creaking porch of his weathered ranch house. Solomon, a man in his 60s, bore the lines of struggle and survival on his dark, weathered face. He had spent his youth serving his country and his later years trying to build a life worth living in the quiet countryside. But solitude had a weight to it, and Solomon felt every ounce of it pressing down on his broad shoulders, until the day he met Isabella. She had arrived with a group of workers seeking refuge and employment. Her slender frame wrapped in a simple dress that seemed to move with the wind. Her eyes, deep pools of brown, held a strength that belied her youth. At 25, Isabella had seen more hardship than most, fleeing violence and poverty in Mexico to find safety and stability. From the moment Solomon saw her, something stirred within him, a mixture of admiration and protectiveness. She wasn't just beautiful but resilient, carrying the weight of hope on her delicate shoulders. A bond forged in trust. Solomon offered her work tending to the horses and gardens, a job she took with quiet gratitude. Over the weeks, they fell into an easy rhythm. He admired her diligence, the way her hands worked the soil, and the way she hummed soft melodies under her breath, songs from a home she might never see again. In return, Isabella found comfort in Solomon's presence. His deep and steady voice calmed her fears, and his stories of the past gave her courage to face the future. He taught her how to ride horses, mend fences, and fire a rifle for protection. One evening, after finishing their chores, they sat by the fire pit. Isabella shared stories of her childhood, of the mango trees she climbed, and the laughter that once filled her village. Solomon listened, his heart aching for the innocence she had lost. "I don't belong anywhere," she whispered, her voice trembling. Solomon reached out, his calloused hand covering hers. "You belong here, Isabella. You'll always have a place as long as I'm breathing." Love, in the face of fear. Their bond deepened with time, and soon whispers stirred in town, judgments about the old black man and the young Mexican girl living under one roof. But neither paid heed to the gossip. One evening, as a summer storm rolled across the plains, Isabella stood at the window, her long black hair cascading down her back like silk. Solomon approached, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. She turned tears in her eyes. "I'm scared," she admitted, "of losing this, of losing you." He cupped her face gently, wiping away her tears. "We'll fight for this, Isabella. For us." Their first kiss was slow and deliberate, an unspoken promise etched in the warmth of their lips. From that moment, their love became an anchor against the storms of life. A battle for survival. One night danger came calling. Men from across the border tied to the cartel Isabella had escaped tracked her down. Solomon stood guard with his shotgun, and Isabella, despite her fear, stood beside him, rifle in hand. The battle was brief, but brutal. Solomon took a bullet to the arm, but together they defended their home. When the dust settled, Isabella bandaged his wounds with trembling hands, tears streaming down her face. "You saved me," she said, her voice breaking. "No," Solomon replied, his eyes soft despite the pain. "We saved each other. A love that endures." As the seasons changed, so did their love, growing deeper and stronger. They faced every challenge with unwavering devotion, knowing their time was precious. They often sat together under the starlit sky, Isabella resting her head against Solomon's chest, listening to the steady rhythm of his heart. "If I die first," Solomon said one night, "promise me you'll keep fighting, keep living." "And if I go first?" Isabella asked softly. Solomon smiled, brushing her hair from her face. "Then I'll find you in heaven, mi amor." Their love, forged in hardship and sealed in sacrifice, stood as a testament to the power of devotion. It was a love that crossed borders, defied judgment, and endured in the face of time, a faded glory that shone brighter than ever.